You've arrived at the Texas to Tennessee podcast, your home for your favorite independent artists and a couple of guys you've never heard of.
Who?
It was Texas, it was Tennessee. It was what I had coming to me. You were unlike anything.
Howdy, folks. You have arrived at the Texas to Tennessee podcast. My name's Steve. First off, thank you to Evan Boyer, that wonderful voice. I mean, I feel just super inferior every time I hear his voice.
Less of a man.
Also, the reason why we had him do it. So, and to Adam Hood for the little tidbit at the end. Appreciate that.
I gotta make a new one too.
I feel like it might be time just to have one on reserve.
Have to make one for,
maybe an outro
for Steph.
But yeah, for sure. And then maybe a little something on the outro would be fun too. But yeah, whatever. We'll talk about that later. That's Soul Gravy up top. Yeah, he's up top on my screen. I'm not sure where he is on your screen.
I'm not sure where I am, period. But I'm glad to be here.
Well, apparently preparing for the part 2 of the Texas to Tennessee storm from 2021 is what I was told.
Okay, so yeah, we learned that there was a storm in 2021, and for some reason it was named Texas to Tennessee. I'm assuming that was the path of the storm. We didn't know that we had caused so much ruckus before the podcast even started, but you know, it happens. So
solid. Well, bundle up. And be safe, because we're going to need you down in Key West here in about...
For Winter Death 2026. I'm ready.
Yes, sir. Folks, tonight on the podcast, this is our friend Austin Hamilton. Welcome in, sir. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We appreciate you taking time to... I'm sure this wasn't high on your list of things to do, but we're super excited to have you here. We're going to ask you a few questions, but I guess to get started, do you mind taking a couple minutes and giving us a little bit of your backstory? So anything that you want to share.
Sure. So, like I said before, grew up in Roaming Shores, little town in Ashtabula County, Northeast Ohio, and this is kind of like a little bubble. There's a nice little lake there, but it's in the middle of nowhere. Little lake town in the surrounded by cornfields, but it was a good childhood there. And then I think that my dad bought me a guitar and taught me a couple chords, and I never really cared much for it. I just kind of hung it up on my wall and get it down to impress a couple of my buddies once in a while, show them that I know how to make some noises with it. And till about my senior year, I'd say probably high school, I started picking up an acoustic a little bit more and playing around, just like campfires and stuff like that. People enjoyed it. So I figured I would try and, I think I might have set it down for a little while, even after that. And then eventually, I think about 5 or 6 years ago, I decided to try and just get some bar gigs and, maybe make a little money on the side and few free beers or something like that. And but I ended up starting a jam night, like an open mic, and then that's how my first band formed, just from guys coming up and playing. That was called the Rust Belt Ragtops. And then we did that and just kind of just played local places and venues, and I think maybe one or two out of state. And then kind of decided to go in a different direction and started doing more solo gigs and everything like that. And then really kind of wanted to just get more into my niche genre, because that was kind of a little bit more mixed genre music, just guys having fun, So I wanted to get a little bit more serious about it. And that's when I released Cover Your Tracks, which was the first song that I ever released and noticed that more people were listening to it than just people around here, that know who I am. So that was really exciting. And then really kind of got me to start taking it a lot more serious, and figured, maybe I'd like to travel and, get out and start trying to get into some of the circuits and playing different venues around. And so that's been a lot of fun, putting miles on the Forerunner and seeing, just going wherever I can, so
Nice.
anywhere that wants to hear me make noise.
Well, great intro, but I also am curious, when did the
Man, that was a great question too.
I think you're
sorry,
back.
did you not hear it?
We got you now.
Sorry about that. My question was, you have a different band name, correct? Still
Yeah,
has
so,
some of the same players, but
yeah, a couple of them. And um so I have a guy that plays dobro with me, kind of as a duet, and then, in the full band, I got a guy that plays pedal steel, and electric guitar, electric bass, and drum kit. When I'm solo or doing a duet gig, I have a kick drum and a kick tambourine behind both my feet. So I kind of use that for the percussion. Sometimes we'll do that as a full band setup too. If I don't have a drummer, I'll just continue doing that. But that's why I changed the name to Austin Hamilton and the Hitchhikers, because the idea is kind of, whoever puts their thumb up and says, "Yeah, I'll go with you."
nice. All right, I like it.
So really blessed though to have such talented guys. It's really cool to kind of be able to change it up once in a while, and they're all just, we all get along great, and for being on the road and anything else. And if one guy can't make it to a certain gig, I got another guy that'll fill in for him. So it's just kind of fitting. I was kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to call it for the longest time, and then my lead guitarist, uh Evan, his fiance, said, "What about the Cosmic Hitchhikers?" And I said, "All right, we'll take Cosmic out and just keep it simple. Call them the
Hmm.
Hitchhikers."
Yeah. Well, the alliteration of the last name, with the H, that works. So you got with three H's in that hitchhiker.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, and I just kind of wanted to keep it, since I was keeping my name in there. When I'm doing a lot of solo gigs, it shows up on the flyer as Austin Hamilton. So, I wanted to make sure my name was in the band name so it doesn't get confused as being a complete separate thing, so they know it's still me, showing up. Most of the time I'll play a venue, 2 or 3 times solo, and then eventually have the band come with me,
Yeah, totally makes
once I have a little bit of a following in the area, and, kind of build it up that way. But yeah, I wanted to keep the letter count down as much as possible with having my name and then a band name, so.
Yeah,
I,
makes sense. These are big
see,
decisions.
I
All
kind of
right, we're
messed up a
gonna.
little bit when we were naming our little redneck bar band, because I was extremely hesitant to be the singer or whatever, right? So we settled on SG in the hard times, right? But they still confused. Like, I thought it was kind of like what you were saying. If it's me solo, then that's cool. And then if we add the band, then it's easy, right? They're the hard times because they give me a hard time every single time.
Right.
So it was simple, right? So not really, but either way. But it's still not like no venue. Every venue still put Soul Gravy every time, and I'm like, that's right, boys. You still,
The bills are paid, sir.
I swear, I told them the right name.
Right,
But no,
100%. Well,
like you said, you try to think of these things ahead of time to prevent these issues, and it still happens at, not every time, but randomly. And I'm like, man, it's not that difficult. Come on, guys. But anyway, because I'm proud of the guys I
all
play
right,
music with, like you would be. You want their name on the marquee too when they're with you.
for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. Definitely.
Yep. All right, Austin, we're going to give you a little break
Oh,
here. Soul Gravy in his last showing, I think went a perfect like 20 for 20
hmm
or
yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
But it was all softballs. So thanks, Bill Corbin.
But you never know. You get tripped up by a softball accidentally.
Yeah, I do.
So, folks, this is I know everybody's favorite segment of the show, and it is called "Why Are They Famous?" As Austin said, he's from Roaming Shores, which is a village in Rome and Morgan Townships in Ashtabula County, Ohio. So Northeast Ohio, folks. As of the 2020 census, 1,586
Little
already.
known fact, I'm very knowledgeable on Northeast Ohio townships.
All right, very good. Well, this should be easy. We're gonna spread it out a little bit. We're gonna do all of Ashtabula County. So to just give you like a fighting
Okay.
chance on this.
I still don't think I have one,
So
but let's go.
we'll see. I think you got a couple
Okay.
of these. First one is Brian Anderson.
I mean, I feel like there's a bunch of Brian Andersons.
There are, but you got to pick the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah. How do I?
He stayed close to home. Does that help?
They stayed close to home.
He did,
So Ohio State.
and became famous. Huh?
Ohio State.
No. As a professional,
Yeah. So he was either Cleveland or Cincinnati.
there you go.
So I don't remember which one, but but yeah, I couldn't remember if it was football or baseball. It seems like there might be a one
All
in
right.
each.
Well,
I don't know why.
he was a pitcher for the Cleveland Indians.
Okay, so I was thinking baseball. All right.
Yep, you're in the ballpark.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
He played baseball
This
once
one,
when he was a kid. All right.
right? This one, I think will be a little tougher just because the name is so common. But I'm going to give you a little hint. John Brown Jr.
Okay, what's the hint?
Well, the hint's in the name.
Oh, Junior. So he's John Brown's son. Oh,
He
that's
is.
good. I'm not sure what John Brown or Junior did though.
Well, John Brown Sr. Lived in Ashtabula County during the Civil War,
I had a feeling.
but his dad is probably one of the most famous characters. I don't know, that seems like the wrong word to use, but from the Civil War. He was an abolitionist. He had a very unique approach to dealing with the other side.
Okay.
So that was John Brown. That was John Brown Jr.
Homework. John Brown.
You do. Tammy Cochran.
I mean, we have a Cochran that's a pretty famous lawyer around here. But no. Mm-mm.
Tammy was a country music singer from Austinburg. Her biggest hit was called "Angels in Waiting."
What time period are we talking? Do you know? I can do the
I'm
research.
guessing between when country music started and now.
Okay.
I don't know.
I asked the question.
Sorry, Tammy. That's right. You just answer them. Ken Meyer.
I don't think I know.
Slightly before your time. He was the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay. That had to have been before Bill Walsh and
1977. Yeah. So yeah, just right before him. All right, this one I think is your best chance.
Okay.
Gentleman's name. There's a couple here, but this one's definitely your best chance. Gentleman's name is Urban Meyer.
Urban. That's
Urban.
Yeah, he was.
How many guys do you know walking around with the name Urban?
Buckeyes and Gators, and then got out before some controversy and
created some controversy. I think too.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Shout out to Urban Meyer. All right. Danielle Nicolette.
I don't think I'm familiar.
Second female of the evening, I think.
I don't think I'm familiar.
She, you ever seen the show 30 Rock? Yep. Google her.
Austin, have you heard of any of these people from your hometown? so far?
I feel like I'm getting a history lesson on where I grew up right
Well, that's
now,
Well,
which
part.
is
He
to
pretty
be
likes
cool.
fair,
that
it's the
part
whole
too.
county, so it's the entire county. So we had to expand a little bit beyond
Yeah, I'm
What
sure.
the
was
hometown.
her
So
name?
Danielle Nicolette.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She look familiar?
Well, I'm still getting to that point. There's
All
a
right. Well, while you're doing that, we're going to move on
okay.
to the next one. Ransom. That's right. First name Ransom. Eli. Last name Olds. Olds.
I mean, that's a pretty solid name right there, but I don't know who that is.
Is a
Yeah,
great name.
yeah, that's like a really
REO.
that's a kind of a badass kind of person's name, but I don't know anything about that person. Sorry.
Think about the last. Phone a friend. Think about, or you can't phone a friend, but think about the last name.
I'm sorry. What was her last? You got me doing
The
homework
last
while
name
you're
was.
asking me a question.
I'm sorry.
I remember her from another show.
She's been in a
I
few
want
different things. Yeah.
to. You said 30 Rock, right?
Yes.
Why do I think there's an older sitcom that she was in?
Could very well
Third,
be. I didn't go that deep on the research.
third, maybe I don't know. Anyway, I'm thinking Third Rock. Go ahead. Mm-mm. Oldsmobile.
Yes,
All right.
sir. Pioneer of the American automobile industry, for whom the Oldsmobile and the Rio brands were named. So that's kind of cool.
R.I.P. Oldsmobile. All right.
Yeah. All right. Two
Okay.
more. Doug Tompkins.
I just
A lot
like
of
how
really.
you did that. You're like olds. Old.
Trying to help you,
No, I
man.
appreciate it. I'm not familiar with this one either. So
Doug Tompkins is the founder or co-founder of the North Face.
okay,
Those really nice
yeah, he's doing
jackets.
pretty good. Yeah.
And Esprit, which I think is also a clothing
Mm-hmm.
line, but I'm not super
I
familiar.
think so.
But shout out to
Mm-hmm.
Doug. And last but not least, definitely not least, this is your chance to get a third one, Soul Gravy. Clarence Darrow. Think back to your school days.
I try not to remember most of my school. What? Why would I know that last name? I'm not sure.
He was an American lawyer who became famous in the early 20th century for his involvement in the Leopold and Leib murder trial and the Scopes monkey trial. Didn't everybody study the Scopes monkey trial in school?
Apparently, I slept through that part.
It may have been outlawed in that little holler of Tennessee where you are,
Maybe.
but yeah,
Maybe.
yep, that was Clarence Darrow, folks. That's it.
All
That
right.
was famous folks.
Well,
Soul
I've
Gravy,
done
you were like
worse.
2 for 10.
That's for
Yeah,
sure.
you have done worse.
All
Um,
right.
all right, Austin, thanks for putting up with
Definitely.
us. Sorry, it's a little dry,
Well,
but
you obviously did some research more than
He
I did
likes
for this.
likes the research part and the educational part. He's a
well,
very educational man.
I am, and I especially enjoy the fact
Did
that
I get him
Soul
wrong?
Gravy occasionally does well. So,
All right.
all right, we're gonna. This is the weirdest question. I don't know. It's not the weirdest question we ask, but it is a weird question. So we call it the pie question, and we ask you to. It's a musical pie, and we're going to ask you to divide it up into 4 sections. Those 4 sections all involve different parts of the music. So one is the creation or the songwriting. That's one slice of pie. Another slice of pie is recording. Third slice is performance. And then the fourth slice is everything that doesn't fit into those first 3 slices, but also ends up taking up a bunch of your time. For example, booking, social media, fixing a van on the tire, managing the band, all the different pieces that go into it. So that's the fourth slice. We don't really have a name for it, but that's what it is. So my first question is, which of those pieces would you call home, or where do you feel most comfortable?
Oh, well, lately lately writing has become a lot more therapeutic for me, I'd say. And I had a little bit of a dry spell, writer's block for a little bit, and just kind of came out of that and started writing some material that I'm real excited about. So that one's definitely up there. And then performing. I I always like hanging out with my guitar somewhere and playing tunes. I don't really care where it is. That's my favorite thing to do in the world right now, and I feel absolutely blessed to be able to do it for a living. Then yeah, all the other bullshit slice is what I would call it. I could do without all that. The social media stuff and everything gets old. I do
Yeah,
my
doing
best,
podcasts.
but all of it, I podcast. It's cool to hang out with you guys. So um, but yeah, I don't know. The writing and performing is what was the third one?
Recording.
Recording. I'm recording right now, and I have a lot of friends and musicians that love recording. I like the process of putting it together with the producer
Right.
and kind of building the song as it goes, but the actual process of getting in the studio and recording a song that I wrote, I really am not that big of a fan. I
I,
love
I
I mean,
get it.
I love the final result, but that's the work, that's the work to me is getting in there and doing it, and you got to pay for it too. So that
Yeah,
part
that's
sucks.
also. Uh, well, a couple of follow up questions since we talked about the recording piece last. How do you go about finding where the right place for you is? Because I'm sure you have different options in terms of where you can
To
actually
record,
go. Yeah, to record.
yeah, I got an offer from a bigger producer on Music Row in Nashville, and that was a lot more expensive than what I'm used to. So I decided not to go through with that just yet. It's
Understand.
definitely in the plans in the future when the time feels right. But and then there's a real nice studio around here that does all kinds of different work other than his favorite is to work with bands and musicians obviously, but they do stuff for like HBO and some of the news stations around here, and I think they've done recordings for Netflix and things like that. That's called Lava Room. We did some recording there. It's just a top-notch studio. But lately what I've been doing, to be honest, is I got a buddy that's a great producer, and he's just got a little studio in his home, and that's been a lot easier to do because I can go there whenever. She's right down the road, and I just like the work that he does, and I also like that if I'm not happy with something, I can just shoot back over and redo it real quick. Don't have to worry about appointments and all that for the most part, and it's just a lot more relaxed,
Thanks.
than going in. If one problem with recording for me is, like I said, like if I'm not in the mood when I wake up in the morning and I had an appointment booked to go record, that's I'd rather just reschedule at that point. My buddy here is he understands. So, but I don't want to do that to a studio I don't want to do it to anybody, but like I was supposed to go in and record today, and I just texted him and said, "Hey man, I woke up feeling kind of shitty, so uh,
Yeah, today's not the day.
let's
Uh,
reschedule."
I guess
And I
my
got this
follow up
podcast I got to
question
do later today. So,
be saving my
Well,
voice.
yeah, self inflicted last night. A little beer bottle blues, maybe this
fair.
morning. You know,
Um, all right. Well, I guess a follow up question to that is if, let's say, you were given advice to somebody who's just thinking about getting out to record their first, the first music that they want to put out, what would be the things that you would tell them to look for in terms of finding the right match with the studio?
I would say somewhere that you can feel comfortable and relaxed, like you're just chilling playing music, because you don't want to overthink it. Walk in and have so much on your mind about how you want things to go. Sometimes you want to get in there and just feel like you're hanging out, playing music with your buddies in your practice spot, and also having somebody that making sure you meet the producer and somebody that you get along with, and that seems like one of your buddies to hang out with, because it's just I feel like it's really there's more pressure that I tend to put on myself when recording, because if I'm performing live, I don't have that much of an issue with it going the way that it goes, any song that I'm playing, but if I'm recording, I might be thinking, oh, I want to make sure this part, the dynamics work out here, and then I want to make sure I remember to do that stop right here. If I don't do that live, I'm okay with it, because it might make the song a little bit more interesting in its own way for each performance. But I'll go into a studio and I'll be thinking about everything that I want to make right. But if I just get into a relaxing state of mind and I can just play the song, sometimes it goes better doing it that way than thinking about the way you want it to go. Try to lose control and kind of like, or try not to uh, worry about being in control of the way everything goes so much, and kind of let go and let things unfold the way that I feel like music and art is supposed to happen.
I think that's great advice. And I don't know, not being a recording musician, I would feel like there was so much pressure just because my brain would probably get in the way of like, how much time do I have left? How much money do I have left? Like that whole
Right.
thing,
Right. There's
right?
all that. And then also somebody that you got to work with, somebody that is willing to record the way that's going to work for you. Cause a lot of people want to record the click tracks. I can't stand click tracks. I want to play sometimes for certain songs. I want to record them live, so I get the full, the essence of that feeling of doing it live, and sometimes when you're recording the traditional way and layering everything on, some of that spirit can be taken out of it, and the changes in dynamics sometimes call for a little bit of change in tempo, you know so the click track's out the window there, and a lot of people don't like recording that way, so
Yeah, I personally
uh,
don't mind it. You know what I mean? If it's a little loose. I mean, some of my favorite
right.
bands are, look at, shoot, the band I got on my head, Ragweed. I mean, I got a feeling, I got a feeling theirs is,
I
a
thought
lot of
that
theirs
said
is pretty
ragweed
loose.
on
And
it.
then, everybody, like my favorite drummer is Levon Helm. I would love to somebody try to wrangle him down with a click track. You know what I mean? Like that would be insane to try to do. That would take everything that makes his sound great would go out the window. So.
Oh yeah, funny story with having a cross Canadian ragweed hat on. I thought that's what that said. I I think it was when I think it was my freshman or sophomore year of high school. I was downloading on LimeWire,
Killing some computers.
whatever. I can't remember whatever they called it. It was like a torrent or something, where it's just like a massive
Right.
file of a bunch of different
Hmm.
songs, and some of their stuff was in it. And that was before I was really into roots country or red dirt country or anything like that, any bluegrass or anything of the sort. And when I found them, something just kind of something I noticed that something clicked. I felt differently about their music than any music before, and it was kind of the same thing as playing guitar. How I kind of hung it up on the wall and forgot about it for a few years. I did the same thing with that type of music in general, and then ended up coming back to it. And every time find a new artist, it just kind of cuts deeper, than anything else, which is was kind of interesting, because my my dad and all his brothers um, were all musicians their whole lives. My dad played in a lot of tribute bands, and played with a number of different people that went on to be fairly famous. And um, he was playing country music at one point and kind of switched to more. Motown and stuff like that. And everybody would always tell me, music's in your blood. You'll probably end up doing something with it eventually. And I never
Right.
believed them. And then I guess what I'm kind of coming back around to full circle here is, um, coming across bands like Cross Canadian Ragweed and things throughout my life kind of sparked that in me. And then it kind of feels like I blinked my eyes and now I'm playing music for a living, just like my dad did. And I'm kind of, everybody was telling me I would, be involved in
That's
music.
cool.
I never really believed them. So it's kind of weird. But,
do,
but yeah,
do you
so.
remember any albums or anything? I mean, I know there's tons of them, but do you remember any songs, albums, whatever, that made you realize that you could record music the way that you have been with your buddy, as far as keeping it that simple? Is there anybody that stands out to you?
Um,
You know what I mean? That hadn't always been that way. I mean, it may have. We just didn't know about it. But recently, there's people that share that's how they record their music wherever the hell they want to, and
but
put
yeah.
it out. Which, like our buddy Lance Rogers has been putting out some really great stuff, and it is as simple as possible, intentionally, and I love that. I love that. When guys make
Yeah,
that decision.
that's kind of I like when things are kind of in their raw state, you know. Something about it just feels more real. I don't like I never really liked overproduced music. I'll get down to all kinds of different genres, depending on what I'm doing, but I don't know. I mean, Tyler Childers was a big influence for me.
Gotcha.
So, I think, his first album and Purgatory and all of
The
that.
Red Barn album
Um,
and all that.
yep.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so that stuff was, and then yeah, I don't know. I think that really the way that I was kind of looking at it was I don't want to spend, thousands of dollars on a song, if I don't have to. And like I said, I just love the way I love the way my buddy Dibby produces. So it always sounds nice and full, and especially the songs that we're working on right now. I'm really excited to release kind of a little bit of a different style um, than what I've been doing after a little bit of a break.
Any
It's
idea
it's
when you're
refreshing.
when you shooting for those to appear out in public?
I'm gonna release a handful of singles and just kind of I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do with the instrumentation. I might just do because these are all kind of solo
Mm-hmm.
versions that I'm releasing right now, and eventually I want to do full band versions of all of them. But I might just do. I already have dobro tracks on a couple of them, so it might just be me with the kick drum and tambourine and dobro. I might have a fiddle come in, or uh, I was I was really thinking about for a couple of these doing trumpet even, which I'm really excited about. I got a guy that's willing to do that, listening to the tunes right now. So with all that up in the air, I would like to get a song, the one that I'm working on right now. I would like to have it done within the next couple weeks,
Okay.
and then if that's the case, a month after that it'll be released. So I'm trying to stay on it and do things as quick as possible. But the other part of it is I probably do 4 or 5 gigs a week. So a lot of times, but after doing all those gigs, I don't have the voice to get into the studio. So I kind of got to play it by how the vocal cords are holding up
Mm-hmm.
as well. But I think that one will be coming out soon. And then currently writing a couple more, so that I'm pretty excited about. We'll kind of see. Every time I try to give a date or a timeline on something, everything changes.
Okay. So y'all make sure
So
you
we'll
go
see.
follow Austin's socials. We'll I'm sure we'll say that again, but make sure you have extra reasons to go follow now, because that way, whenever all this comes together and he lets y'all know when the music is coming, you'll know. So it's simple.
Yeah, I'll be
Yep.
posting stuff on there. Probably some teasers and things like that.
Gotcha.
trying to keep up with it.
All right. It's about that time, Tombo? Maybe. Yeah.
Was just enjoying
Okay.
listening. I turned the microphone off. It was lovely.
So now you
Yes, it
know
is.
how I feel. Uh,
Yeah, for sure.
okay.
Austin, we're going to ask you to give us a little intro or an outro, your preference, on Cover Your Tracks. You'd already mentioned that you talked about it a little bit earlier, but that's a song that we're going to play. And then once we
Yeah.
turn on the song, if you wouldn't mind hitting the quiet button, that way when Soul Gravy plays it, we'll get the best cut of it for everybody. But anything we should
Okay.
know about this one?
Yeah. So that was the first song that I released for my solo career, and I I really wasn't sure. I didn't know that I was going to have a recording to release from this experience, but I went out to Winchester, Virginia, to meet up with a great artist called Chris Hunt Jr. because he has a YouTube channel called Basement Boys Productions, and they have some awesome artists on there. And so I was like, I reached out to him, and he said, "Yeah, man, come on out, and we'll record a video and get you on the YouTube channel." So I went out and did that, and then he ended up sending me the recordings stems, and said, if you want to go ahead and post this, you can, do that. So I sent him to my buddy that I was talking about, Dibby, that does my recordings for me here, and he just kind of mastered them a little bit and got them ready and went ahead and released that. But when I wrote it, um, I think I've had a couple family members and friends that have been through addiction, and a couple of them that didn't make it through it, and a lot of a lot of people that have made it through addiction and getting clean have said that they have to kind of get away from their hometown or get away from everybody that they're familiar with for a little bit to kind of just focus on themselves and get away from that temptation or whatever it is, even if those people weren't a part of the problem. Sometimes they just got to get
Mm-hmm.
away. And so I wrote that song with some people in mind, but more so kind of about a fictional character, guy from this area that just needed to get, thought for some reason he needed to leave the country, so he wanted to get down to Mexico or something, and he's hanging out with one of his buddies, and he says, "Hey man, I gotta go, but I don't have a car," and his buddy ends up lending him a vehicle, and the vehicle had a jar of moonshine in it. So that's kind of the moral of that story, is that a lot of times without even knowing it, is not to take it personally when people have to leave you, for a period of time, and without even knowing it, sometimes we can be enabling, you
I
know.
understand.
So he takes
Absolutely.
that car down to the border and ends up trading it for a sailboat. Leaves the jar of moonshine sitting at the corner of the boat, and leaves his troubles behind and goes on to have a whole new life. And we don't know what happens with him after that.
To be
So,
All right.
continued.
All right.
so that's all I got on that song.
All right.
All right. Here we go, folks.
You said, "Now take my car, 'cause I ain't too much for leaving. You could keep that job for to help with the grieving. All I'm asking is you call me when you get where you're going and don't ain't too much for leaving. You could keep that job for to help with the grieving. All I'm asking is you call me when you get where you're going, and don't be too quick to cover your tracks. Southbound till I reach the end of the shore. When the ocean turns to liquor, we can settle the score. I said, look, and I beg you for a favor. You could take my car and I will pay the rest in labor. Sail down the coast until I reach the border. Leave my worries at the border. Goodbye, I'll see you later. Off well. Ain't too much for leaving. Keep that job for to help with the grieving. All I'm asking is you call me when you get where you're going, and don't be too quick to cover your tracks so well.
That's great that guys like that, or that folks like the what was it, Basement Boys? Is that what you said? Just I know they're not the only ones, but there's a bunch of folks out there that do stuff like that for artists and give them places to be heard and seen with their channels and their all their socials and whatever. That's great that those avenues are out there for folks. Hang on. Okay, I got you. You're unmuted now.
There we go.
Got you. That's
Oh,
all right.
my bad. Um, yeah, I forgot to unmute. But yeah, Appalachia Untold and Basement Boys Productions. Those are all. There's a bunch of them. They're all great.
Um,
I don't know if you guys can. My cat
that's
just
a.
joined me. He's purring very loud, so I don't know
All
if you
right.
can hear. It's Ozra.
Bef- go ahead.
Go
I'll
ahead. Sorry.
follow up after.
No, I was just going to say, I really, I prefer a voice that has a little rasp and a little sizzle, or kind of that what you have working. But I'm
Grit,
curious
yeah.
how you go about taking care of that voice, because you just mentioned that you're playing 4, sometimes 5 shows a week.
That was a battle at first, and it still is sometimes. I don't really have much of an answer for it besides trying to bring it from in here rather than up here. A lot of times I get back into that old habit, and I can tell that I'm doing it. It can be difficult to get out of it, but for the most part, it's been a lot less damaging on my voice just through repetition. I think I haven't really been focusing on anything. Trying to, like no. I haven't consciously changed anything, but I guess over the past 2 years probably of doing this full time, it's just gotten easier and easier. And I think a lot of it also was focusing on when to bring that emphasis out and grit, and when it doesn't need it as well, because doing it all the time can be overkill, and that was kind of the way that I started out singing. So kind of just um, becoming a little bit more well-rounded as a vocalist, and kind of being a little bit more conscious of the damage that I'm doing to my vocal cords has kind of
Yeah.
helped, I guess.
Well, I'm sure with the experience, you get an idea of how to manage it and what times you need to, press on it a little bit and what times you can back off. And that's just something that comes with playing a ton.
Yeah, that's what it is. Sometimes a little bit of blackberry brandy will help.
All right. Everybody's got their own remedy. So, whatever
Yeah,
works.
I keep a bottle of honey in my door compartment, and sometimes I'll do a quick honey chug before a gig.
Nice.
That
Go ahead,
helps.
Soul Gravy. Yeah.
We were talking about before we started the pod and about Wazfest, and I think you know Joseph's trying to do some really cool things, so I wanted to make sure that we talked about that before we did get out of here. A lot of friends of the pod have played up there, which is really cool.
Oh yeah, Joe's an awesome guy. I mean, everybody up there. I've met so many cool people through going out there, and it's a really cool
Can
listening
you
room.
kind of
Everybody.
describe to folks what we're talking about, what we were talking about before we started?
Yeah, so I mean, it's there's chairs lined up. He started out in an American Legion and built a stage that he would set up for it, and had just some amazing artists come out and give him a spot where for the people in that town. And the past couple times, there's been people that have driven uh, up to 3 hours. I noticed to just come to that spot and listen to some good artists. And I think it's really cool. He's got the sign up that says "Please STFU and listen to the music." So that's always there. And he just kind of gives a speech
Good
before
deal.
anybody gets up to perform, and kind of says, "Hey, we want to make sure everybody can listen. These are lyrical songs and a lot of stories, and people want to have a space to not have somebody yapping in your ear next to you, the whole time you're trying to listen to the music." So it's just a really cool venue, and we just recently moved it almost directly across the street. I think it's a cool little theater that has a raised up stage, and the whole backdrop is like a theater scene of the stage, where it has like doors and windows of like a little cottage. And so it's a really cool new venue that he's moving it to and rebranding it to the Bad Buffalo Listening Room. We got some awesome merch for that too, so
It's around Buffalo.
looking forward to getting a
It's up near
t-shirt.
Buffalo, New York,
Uh,
right? Is that where? That's where you said? Yeah.
yeah, Alden, New York. It's about 40 minutes from Buffalo, 40 minutes south of Buffalo, I think. And yeah, yeah, I'll be heading there next month. I don't know the exact date, but
That's that.
I got it in my
I
calendar
know.
on
I
my
know
phone
he's just
then.
one of a bunch of places like that. Not enough places, but a bunch of places that are trying to do that. Whether it be small festivals or, you know, um, or listening room setups like that, which is I know, especially guys in that vein of music and the songwriter guys. One that comes to mind first is J.D. Graham. I know they love.
Oh
They
yeah,
would. They don't really want to play a rowdy room. With the music that they write and they sing. They want to.
right.
That and it. So rooms like that benefit those guys tremendously. So
Oh yeah, and I like both.
understand.
I don't mind playing. My one of my favorite places to play around here are just the little dive bars. If I could make a living playing dive bars for the rest of my life, I would not
You
be
you probably
upset.
are, but I guess the difference is you already know what songs you can get away with in the dive bar and which ones
Right.
if you're trying to, you know what I mean. If you're trying to play an album
Yeah.
worth of tough songs like JD writes, that's tough to cram that down people's throats in a redneck bar. So.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I agree with you though. I enjoy it too. The goods and the bads and everything that happens in front of you that can be a little wild at times, funny and whatever else.
Oh
You
yeah.
never know what the hell you'll
Once in a
see,
while, you once in a while you got to remind somebody you're not a jukebox.
which can be fun too. Just to
That's
tell
funny.
them. Sometimes the smart assness is fun too. But
Oh yeah. Yeah.
you got
Exactly.
another
Yeah.
question before we get to the rapid fire?
You know, I always have
I know, I
questions.
know.
I always have
I just
questions.
didn't want to keep skipping over you. I've been talking a lot more tonight.
No, you're good. We were going to do part two of Why Are They Famous, but instead I'm going to ask you, um,
Is there that many more
one of the
famous
things I
people
like to
from the
do,
county?
right?
Okay.
One of the things I like to do, Austin, is do a little bit of research and look at your tour schedule. Um, super impressive. So I looked at the first couple months of the year, and
Oh, yeah.
you are loaded up. So I feel like you could also give some tips to some folks because I know there's plenty of folks out there trying to get places to play. Tell us about what works for you because obviously something is working and
Yeah.
curious about kind of what your strategy is or anything that you'd be willing to share.
Yeah, I mean, I think last year I did over 200 gigs. Um, but like I said, I'm just starting to kind of get out and tour a little bit on the weekends and stuff like that. But on a local level, I think that something that really has helped me, which might, not be uh, in certain areas for certain other artists, but is that up here, there's not really many people that specialize in the niche that I do. So there's not, we have a ton of great musicians in Northeast Ohio, but it's not until you go further south, like once you hit Columbus area, Cincinnati, and further south from that, that people kind of there's more and more artists that kind of stick to the same genre that most of the artists that you guys have on your podcast are in. And up here, there's not many. So if a place wants someone that sticks to just that, there's only a few to choose from.
That's cool.
So I think that might be one thing, like a supply and demand type of thing. But advice would just be, if there's a place you want to get into, yeah, if you just frequent those places, go in, meet the people, show that you like their spot and you want to play there because you like their location and what they're doing there, and maybe even offer to play a few tunes, on a night that they don't have anybody there, and just say, hey, if people like it, maybe book a gig with me. And I've started out booking a lot of monthly places, and because I was doing construction work, I was a union bricklayer for a while, and then I did some excavating and concrete, and I would do gigs after that. And then it wasn't until I kind of realized that I was making more money from the music than I was as uh, a journeyman. So I figured if I could pick up some more gigs and do what I love and get I like working with my hands, but if I'm being honest, playing tunes is a little bit more enjoyable than being in the mud all day.
Understandable.
So I just kind of just try and pick the places that I like to hang out at, and try to book monthly at those places, and started out doing that. And then but the real goal is to get out and start getting around, getting out of Ohio and getting around the circuits and playing where everybody else is that I look up to and listen to. And so like I said, next month I'll be going to out to the Bad Buffalo listening room, and then I think the month after that I'll be going out to Missouri,
Oh,
maybe
nice.
adding
Yeah, I saw
adding
Liberty,
something else. Place, yeah, I think there's a place called the Farm
the
up
farmhouse. Yep.
there.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll be going up there sometime in March, I believe, maybe somewhere else on the way, and then after that, I think I'll be hitting that again a few months later after a gig in Nebraska. So definitely some driving,
Yeah, for sure.
but but yeah, I don't know. It's I know that some other areas can be very tough because there's a lot of people that are doing exactly, you
Mm-hmm.
know, what I am in a lot of these other areas.
I do think it's
Lost
great.
you.
No, sorry to interrupt. I do think it is great advice though, a lot of what you're doing, or at least from what you said, it sounds like there is some face-to-face interaction that's going on, and that
Yeah.
can always be the case, especially as you expand your touring circle, but or the touring map. But um, you know, it's a lot harder to say no to somebody face to face than it is in an email. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a place that you can get to, I mean, even some of the bigger venues, like in Indianapolis, Duke's Indy was my favorite, and unfortunately that they had to close down. But when me and my band were on the way to Kansas City, um, to do a gig out there, we were going through Indianapolis and just figured we'd stop in and just say hello, and little things like that can go a long way. Just kind of, it was cool. They let us in to see what the artist that was playing, and gave us some beers and some hats, and sent us on our way. And you know, it's just kind of getting out there. And I think that playing, when you frequent an area, even each different venue, you start to realize that people are coming back to that venue on the days that you're playing there because they've seen you before there, so it's something that you kind of have to work up, I think, to. And then once that place starts getting busier and busier, when you're there, the owners are going to be happier. So
Yep.
I
Well,
tend to deal with a little bit of oversaturation in my area, which is part of the reason why I'm trying to get on the road a little bit more.
makes sense. Well, shout out to Dukes for all the years of doing all the things that they did for a lot of great
And
independent artists.
if
So
people wonder
sad to
why
see
we
him go.
shout places like that out, his story right there is a huge part of it.
That's
You know what I
absolutely
mean?
amazing.
We don't get to ask every person that comes on here these questions like that, but most of them have a story of similar to some venues that give them a place to play their original music. And that's all they, a place to play and somebody to play music to and be treated decent. I mean, that's really all they all they're looking for.
That place was such an awesome experience, and the amount of talent that they've had in there is just, I mean, the long list of names is just outrageous. I think the show I did there was opening for Bill Taylor and the Appalachian Heathens, and Hunter Flynn was on that bill as well. So that was a really good one. And then I think Ward, I saw you had a Ward Davis shirt on in one of the. He came into town, venue about 10 minutes down the road from here, the Beachland Ballroom, and so they reached out to me and asked if I wanted to open for him, and I said, "Well, hell yeah."
That's cool.
Went and met Ward, and he was a real cool guy, super nice, and um, opened for him, and then
For
yeah,
some
it's been
reason, I
fun.
have a feeling you know Alex Williams. Do you? I don't know why I'm asking this question, but
Alec, well, that's he comes up to Beachland Ballroom quite often. He's
but
been
you haven't
coming
really
here. He's
crossed
been.
paths with him.
I saw him. I think he opened for maybe Jesse Daniels'
I got you.
band,
I don't know.
something, and I saw
I
him
guess
there. That
just the area and all the places you were talking. I don't know. I just kind of assumed y'all were probably had a show together or
Yeah, you know
something.
what's funny though? Is the bass player in my first band, the Rust Belt Ragtops that I mentioned. His name is Alex Williams.
So I guess so. You did play at gigs with Alex Williams. Alex
Yeah,
Williams played bass for
yeah.
you. Damn
That
it.
needs to go on your EPK. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
All right.
So that's
I
how
mean,
you
it's
got those
truthful.
gigs at Duke's.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Oh yeah, and then
Austin.
I also
What?
wanted to mention picking in the
Oh yeah.
backwoods too. Picking in the backwoods, we had the pleasure of playing Justin Coyote Jet with the Coyote. What is it called? I'm drawing a blank
Yeah,
right now.
Coyote Radio.
Uh,
Is that the name?
Coyote Radio
Mm-hmm.
podcast. Yeah, he's had an amazing long list of names on that too. He's a really cool guy as well. So, you know, became buddies with him and had me out there to Duke's Indy and then picking in the backwoods. And hopefully, I got my fingers crossed that I'll be back there this year, whether I'm playing or not. So,
Understand.
Yep. Very
Right.
cool. We have three, Austin. We have three rapid fire questions for you tonight.
All right.
Better choose wisely. So, first off, what's your favorite chord?
That's just funny to me. I don't know
my
why.
favorite chord to play,
Yes, sir.
B7.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
All right.
Not as complicated as the last one, but a little
Well,
more
he was a
complicated.
jazz guitarist, so he was showing off.
He was.
My
That's
guitar
fair.
didn't come with those chords.
Yeah, mine either. All right. You get to have dinner with one historical figure, dead or alive. Who are you breaking bread with? What do you eat?
Oh, I don't know. Man, I wish I would have known you were going to ask me that. This is supposed to be
You didn't
rapid
ask
fire,
that one on
though.
the one he watched.
No,
I
no.
didn't even
We
watch the
mix them
full
up.
things. I was skimming through. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's a serious thing to me. I got to get back to you on that one.
That's
I don't
fine. We'll
want to
give you
throw
a
a name
different one.
out. And
Put it
if
in
I
the
could only
Yeah.
choose once.
put it in the comments
Uh,
on the Facebook video later. Let us know.
that's right. All right. Uh, this one's pretty easy. Any idea who was on your Spotify rap?
Or
Do you listen to
Who?
Spotify?
your top.
Yeah, idea who was on
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, like who were
Oh,
the top folks that showed up when you got your summary of the last year?
I can't remember what it said, but I can tell you, my favorite band that I've been listening to lately is called Rattlesnake Milk. I
Yeah,
don't know
for
if you
sure.
guys have ever heard of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
very
I've been
familiar.
really into them lately. I think the Drop Times was high on the list for the
That would make
past
sense.
year.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
just saw them out in Miramar Beach for Whiskey Moon Festival.
Very
That was
nice.
an
Those
awesome
guys are
festival
awesome.
too.
Um, and then I guess my last question is, let's see, which one do I want to choose? Oh, all right. Sad song.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of when I say sad song?
My favorite kind of songs.
Is there one that comes to mind, especially when I say sad song?
um, well, I think one of the saddest songs ever written is "Broken Window Serenade."
Yeah, that
I just
qualifies.
mentioned Whiskey Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's Whiskey Myers Festival out there in Destin, Florida. But yeah, I like playing that song. That's probably one of the saddest ones I could think of off the top.
Deal.
Yep, that's a winner.
All right.
All right, well, that was rapid fire. Soul Gravy, he's all yours.
All right. So y'all make sure you go follow Austin on all your socials wherever you stream your music. Hit that follow button there too. We talk about that. Unfortunately, artists have to build kind of a resume and a packet to present themselves to venues and all those things. So all the views, all the interactions, all the follows, all the shares with your other music loving friends helps every independent artist out. Go to a show, shake a hand, buy some merch to any independent guys that come around your area. You will not be disappointed. I guarantee that. Hopefully. All right, guys. The last question. Well, I'm guaranteeing shit of people I don't know who they're going to go see.
That's true.
They could
That's
have
true.
a bad night. I don't know. Anyways, Austin, this is the most important question. It started out as a joke on episode 1, and now it's a requirement that we ask. And he did his homework. So, ladies and gentlemen, Austin, what is your favorite Little Debbie snack?
Yeah, I did do my homework. I had to look up. It's Nutty Buddy
Okay.
bars for sure, but I had to look up what the because I noticed you asked that, and I didn't even know that Nutty Buddy bars was a Little Debbie
You just knew you
snack
liked
until I
them.
looked it up. So that made it
Okay.
easy. I got an empty box in my cupboard right now.
All right, sounds good.
Well,
I can
well
show
done.
you if you need proof. I'm not lying. I like them.
Sounds good. All right.
Well, folks, thanks for joining tonight. We appreciate you being here as always. If you haven't subscribed, people ask once in a while, what can we do to help y'all along the way? And I mean, if you want to send Soul Groovy a bunch of cash or one of our artists a bunch of cash, that's great. But honestly, the thing that you can do is subscribe on YouTube, all along on Facebook. It's all free to do that. But also throw a review on Apple or Spotify. We don't ever ask for that. I feel like we should, so I'm asking tonight.
Any interactions?
Yeah, any interaction helps. And come back tomorrow because 8 p.m. On Wednesday, it's the Off the Rails band with Zach and Jared. I guarantee it's going to be entertaining.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Austin, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
All right.
Anytime.
See y'all.
All right.